What's up?
What is up?
I don't know.
This is gonna be rough.
This is it's your turn now.
I know, this is a much better start than the previous try.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back. If you are new, my name is Jess, and this is my boyfriend, not dad, Reece. Did you know people have been calling you my dad?
I think you've told me there's a few comments on there about me being your dad.
We're like 6 years apart.
Yeah, I know, right?
Not possible for you to be. Anyway, I do know that I look young. I am 30, so... Plot twist, that's not what this is about at all.
Okay.
So if you are new to our channel, please maybe watch other videos of us. Don't start out with this one because we're gonna dive into some tea.
The tea? I've heard
Spilling of the tea.
I've heard this statement of the tea, spilling of the tea. Tell me about it.
Do you know what it means?
No, I don't.
You don't know what spill the tea means? It means like, ooh, this is drama.
Oh, okay.
Drama, drama, drama. So
okay.
We've shared all of my relationship stories on the internet.
We all got some bad stories, I guess.
Don't we?
We do.
Don't we? So,
all right.
For those of you that don't know, Reece is a recovering meth addict with 6 years of sobriety.
Correct.
And I'm a recovering heroin and meth addict with 8 years of sobriety. Yay.
Okay.
And we have a dark past. And I'm just gonna be here to look pretty, but also I'm just gonna ask you a lot of shit that I already know the answer to.
Okay, that'd be best.
People that are not watching.
Yeah.
So I don't exactly know what I'm gonna title this video.
Okay.
Reece has a maybe baby mama.
A maybe baby.
A maybe baby mama. So.
Oh boy. Okay.
Just get comfortable.
Yeah, you just throw this out. This is a much better format. This will help me prepare my responses.
I will be the interviewer.
Okay.
And I will ask you questions as if I don't know what the hell your life was like.
Okay, go ahead.
So, your addiction, and we do have other stories of Reece's addiction on the channel.
Yep.
Your addiction led you to about a year of scullering around in the bottom.
Yep, some murky water. I definitely got my hands dirty that last year of my addiction for sure.
So why don't you tell me about your girlfriend during that time? We'll call her Stacy.
Stacy. Okay.
Stacy.
We'll probably end up changing that name as we go along. Whatever. I guess we'll call it a female acquaintance, a girlfriend. I guess it could have been look like a girlfriend. I was running around with her quite a bit. Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of met her through a previous acquaintance, through some other criminal activity that I was involved in at that time. So that was always a great place to meet a woman. So anyway, at the time I was kind of living with my dad, and she was kind of running and gunning too. And so she ended up staying with me while I was out at my dad's house, you know, freshly bailed out of jail. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how we met, and you know, kind of got to moving around. She was doing dope, I was doing dope, and you know, I think we obviously got along. You know, usually when people, you know, you got kind of an alike personality, and you know, you start doing drugs together, start hanging out. You know, the illusion of being high and having a good time sometimes makes you think you have a little deeper connection. I think that happens a lot in the meth world. Mm-hmm. Yeah, people are, you know, almost family. You know, they're best friends out of nowhere. You know, they have those horrible toxic relationships because you associate that high with the people around you that are getting high, and you kind of have that paper thin relationship, you know what I mean?
I just relate so much to what you just said because, you know, we can tell stories for days, you guys, but people, and I didn't understand the meth culture when I got to Arkansas, but people very quickly were like, she's my daughter, and I'm like, no, she's not, like talking about me. So I relate to that a lot. It's weird how that happens, and methamphetamine just blasts your dopamine receptors, so you have a euphoric feeling and you feel really, really good, and that is the appeal and the allure with meth. And a lot of times the human brain wants to be positive. This is kind of a little bit off topic here, but we want to remember things better than they were. That's why if we break up, I'm only going to remember the good times and I'm going to miss you. That's kind of just a natural thing in our brain chemistry. So you were running all around. With this girl.
Ended up getting kicked out of my dad's place because obviously, you know, there were some conditions that came with that bail. He helped put up and get me out, and a couple of those were don't do drugs, actually get a job, and stop scurrying around town, and I failed at all three. So he ended up kicking me out, and I got picked up on, you know, a revocation down the street, and I was trying to actually in the midst of trying to get somebody else to sign my bond, and it was because I had brought her back in the house. He had kicked her out for not paying rent and made me tell her. And then obviously I was making some poor decisions and had her back up again at the same place, you know, and he obviously had pretty much run the end of his line with my behavior anyway. So that's kind of what happened. So I ended up going back to jail.
That's what the revocation means.
Yep, the revocation.
I was going to ask you to clarify for
the bond was revoked. He called it in, and the sheriff's office came and picked me up.
Wow, a bond.
Yeah,
fancy.
A few other things that kind of came with that. I picked up a couple of extra charges that, you know, some possession charges because they went out to the house and my room was well kept, but it was also stashed with, you know, everything I had. So anyway, I picked up a couple charges there and ended up going to county, and, you know, this girl that we're talking about, the topic, ended up being the person that bailed me out. Yeah, so a couple days later, they pulled me up, and I'm thinking, oh, you know, I'm definitely stuck here now. Nobody's going to come get me out. And they called me after like 2 days, said you had made bond. I was like, what? Who made bond? I was like,
you got the wrong Reece, bro.
Yeah, but I took it, so I came up to the front, and the bondsman told me it was her that bonded me out. Yeah. Now,
did she bond you out with cash?
No, she had gone to a bondsman, and she was a very convincing storyteller. Some people may call it manipulation or manipulative behavior, but she could get people to trust her. She could. And she got the bondsman to take a check that she wrote against whatever, you know, she kind of told a bold story about, you know, there's no reason that, you know, this $5,000 isn't going to be good. And he actually came and got me out on her word on that check.
So it was a hot check.
It's a hot check, yeah. And so down the road, that guy definitely wanted his money back. Yeah.
So, at what point did this girl get pregnant?
Oh, you know, several months had come by after this at the end. It was probably right at the end of when I finally was getting clean. You know, I think it was, you know, I'd run around a little bit with her and gone back and forth. And it was that last time that I walked into my grandma's house and decided I wasn't going to use back, you know, June 26th, you know, back in 2013. So I think, you know, a couple months prior to that, you know, we were still kind of running and gunning together. You know what I mean? We just obviously kept coming back and forth, you know, and as I was doing drugs and she was doing drugs, we were doing things that people do drugs. We were having sex, you know what I mean? And it was unprotected. You know, it was probably not a smart move, you know, especially with all the rest of the stuff that we were doing. But I'm sure she got pregnant at that point. But there was always that little wrinkle to if it was my baby or not.
I want you to talk about that, and I want you to not to bash her.
No, because I was doing the same thing. I was totally doing the exact same thing. You know what I mean? So I'm not innocent in this story. Yeah.
Yeah, drugs play a huge factor in this story, but I just wanted to talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
What was the probability? Do you think this baby was yours at that point?
Pretty low.
You thought pretty low,
yeah.
Close to zero in your mind at that time.
Yeah, and well, I mean, there had been some instances where a couple other men that were running in the same circles had, you know, obviously we had passed each other, and I knew that she'd fooled around with them because, you know, everybody's just kind of scurrying around town, you know, hopping from spot to spot. Nobody really has a place to stay, but you know, you run with that same circle, and so I knew what was going on, you know, because I was doing the same thing on my time.
Right.
You know, I was sleeping around with a bunch of women too, you know what I mean? So so I had a couple of these men actually tell me at the same time that she had told me and informed me that she was pregnant. They also had told me that she had told them the same thing. Mm-hmm. So
with their baby.
Correct. Yeah. You know, so, you know, I wasn't going to be angry. It wasn't like, you know, I was in a position where I just didn't know. I was just, you know, okay, you know, anybody that tells you that, more than one, you know, knowing full well the kind of life you're both leading, you're like, well, maybe. There's a possibility. I won't say it's not, you know, but...
But at this time, you thought pretty low.
Pretty low, I did.
So she was also using, but then had gotten sober.
Correct.
And
shortly after me, yep.
The really weird thing here is our paths actually crossed, me and this girl.
Oh, yeah.
I was...
Woo!
Yeah.
I forgot all about that. People are probably about to pop right off with this plot twist. Okay.
Yep. So I was actually living in a halfway house in Springdale, Arkansas, and I got a call from a girl that was just in the halfway house with me. She was at Decision Point at a rehab, and she said, Jessica, I know you want to let everyone in. Don't let her in, okay? Just say no to her. You can say yes to everyone else. And I thought, why? And she said, you got a bad one. This girl is going to try to come there, and don't allow that to happen. And I thought, I'm sorry. I am going to say yes to everyone that needs help out of Decision Point or out of rehab. I will, because it was a 3/4 house. So I had some say. It was a democracy. The girls would vote on people. And I'm like, if I have a deciding vote, she's coming in. I never said no. I would never.
Because she was just getting out of being in jail for about 3 months.
Right.
So, yeah,
and she was pregnant.
And she was pregnant when she got out. Yeah, so, yeah, because I remember she actually wrote my dad a letter from in county. Like,
really?
Yeah, I kind of remember that. Like, whew. Didn't know if I was going to include that in this video because I didn't remember it till right now. Yeah, she wrote him like weird? A 2-page letter, like
our brain works.
About how she was pregnant. It was my baby, and obviously she knew him because she'd stayed there for a while, and yeah, that was really.
So I was moving out as she was moving in, and I was probably a few hours away from seeing you.
Yeah,
we just missed each other.
Because I helped her actually move her stuff into that house. I remember.
Right, and I had to run errands because I was moving out, so we had just missed each other. And I had met her, and after I moved out of the halfway house, I would go back and talk to these girls and have dinner with these girls to make sure they were okay and everything was fine. And I heard her tell many stories about Reece being a stalker. This guy named Reece that drives a white Tahoe is stalking her, and she's terrified, and she would cry about that. And I thought, I'm so sorry, that's crazy. I'm so sorry. That's insane. And then 3 months later, I got a little job at Landstar, and I saw a guy named Reece that drives a white Tahoe, and it took me a minute to put it all together, and I was like, oh,
this is the guy.
You're the stalker.
This is the Lifetime Movie Network guy.
So I asked him, like, do you know Stacy?
Yeah.
That's what we called her?
Yep.
Do you know Stacy? And you're like, yes, I do know Stacy.
I do know Stacy, yep.
Stacy, so weird to call her Stacy.
Okay.
We're trying.
Yep.
So at that point, when you and I met, she had just had this baby.
Yep.
Correct?
Correct, yeah. I think a few months after we met, she had that baby. Yeah.
Right. So not only did I have to tell you about my daughter who was at that point in DHS custody, but you were telling me about a maybe baby situation that you had with Stacy,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, so that was interesting because she'd come up to the office.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, so that happened. I kind of had to, and at this point in time in my life, I was just now, I think, freshly, I don't think I was
6 months.
So yeah, a little less than 6 months, and and I had this job, and I was clean. I was in drug court, so that was kind of what was going on. I had a whole lot on my plate, still just trying to get my act together, and she kind of informed me that she had this baby, and I was told under the premise though that she did not want anything from me. She had some other arrangements planned, and she kind of needed my permission to take care of those things.
And now, by permission, what do you mean? What was she going to do with your maybe baby?
She had somebody that was going to adopt it for her, and it's. Do we want to say?
We can.
Okay. It was her parents. I know she had a good family, and they cared. So at the time, I thought that's probably a really smart move. You know what I mean? Because I know that I am probably not capable at all at this time. If it's mine, I still had that little uncertainty thing going on, and I knew she was just doing the same. So all they really wanted was for me just to sign away my rights as a parent, that I would, I agreed with this and I wouldn't come back later. And because the story was, she told them it was mine. She told everybody that it was, and I obviously wasn't going to deny the possibility, but at the same time, I tried to tell her parents that there was a likelihood it might not have been. And
they knew, not to be shitty.
No.
I want the audience, I want our subscribers to understand.
Her parents and her mother had an addiction past, and she was clean and sober, so she knew kind of what comes with that lifestyle. She, her parents knew what tough love was, and I think that they handled it well. Because how people be when they're using drugs. Yeah. So at this point, you didn't ask for a paternity test? I did not. Really, like I said, with everything that I had going on, just trying to, like I said, keep my act together. I was living at my grandmother's on the couch, I had a job and I was in drug court, so I was doing okay, so really, if this just required a signature to get, that's all they wanted from me, I was more than happy to give it. And the underlying, I guess, premise at the time, or the underlying thought at the time of would I ever wonder about this later, really didn't occur to me, to be honest with you. I thought, this is probably for the best. You know, if I just sign, get this over with, I can go back to trying to take care of myself, and everybody ends up for the better here. You know what I mean? There's no reason to go start digging holes. You know what I mean? And start trying to look for skeletons right now. Just do the right thing, sign that paperwork, and everybody will do the best they can.
So at this point, we had just started dating.
Yeah.
And you already made up your mind that you were going to sign and not ask for a paternity test.
Yep.
And I didn't push it. I remember asking you, are you sure?
Yeah, I think you did.
Are you sure? And you said, yeah, no, I'm sure. I'm like, do you think you're going to wonder later? And you said no. Because you really just didn't believe that she was yours.
Correct.
And you had met the baby too at court.
I did, yeah.
And you didn't feel that this was your baby.
No.
And I'm smiling because I knew that we would wonder later, but we were together for a few weeks, so I really couldn't push it.
We're gonna really try to get in that jello of mine. Start giving me some thoughts, you know.
Yeah, and I didn't want to push it. I wanted you to make the decision that you thought was best, you know, and you did. Now it's been 7 years. Mm-hmm. We've been together for 6. It was just our anniversary.
Yeah, so
7 years.
Yeah. She would be the same age as Micah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God. Mm-hmm. So periodically we do receive pictures of her.
Yep.
She's beautiful.
She is.
She's beautiful, you guys. And as this beautiful little girl has gotten older, we look at the pictures and we try to compare his face to her face and Riley's face to her face.
Anybody, you know, anybody that would be curious. And, you know, I do ask when the exchange happens, usually, you know, however random or, you know, few and far between it may be, how she's doing, and she's smart, things like that, you know. But, you know, this last time after the picture exchange and she's a little older, I got a little bit more curious.
Because one of the pictures that we did get, kind of, I see similarities.
Yeah.
And then other people were like, that's your baby, bro. Yeah. But I think a lot of times people want it to be true so bad that they're like, yep, looks exactly like you.
Yeah.
So for years, I'm like, she doesn't really look like you, so I don't know. I mean, you don't know until you take a test.
Yeah.
But now it's like,
yeah, and it's probably dug around in there a little bit over the years, and now that we have a little bit more stability, our life is, you know, going well. You know, you freeze up some space in your mind to start thinking about other things that you may or may not have been a priority to you 6 or 7 years, you know, prior.
Right. And
so,
you know, and if she did get older and she came looking for us, I would be so excited, and I think you would be too. And it would be so awesome. But right now she's with her grandparents and she's very well taken care of and she's doing great.
Yep.
So.
Yep. And I'd asked, you know, when we were coming down to Arkansas, that maybe, if they didn't mind too much, to do a paternity test. And I didn't speak directly to her folks, but I spoke to her and they were open to the idea. Obviously they felt a little taken by it, and I obviously just tried to explain the best I could why I wanted it. You know, just curiosity.
We don't want to change.
You know anything. That you know what I mean. Like I said, I wasn't going to push for any more or any less than what was already going on, but at least I would know. So you get that little peace of mind that, like I said, is taking up space in your head. And, you know, I decided, since they, you know, obviously I heard they didn't really respond too well, and I could kind of understand that. And
they might have been a little spooked.
Yeah, for sure. So, you know, I just decided not to complicate a situation that was already uncomplicated.
Because this little girl doesn't know that Stacy is her mom.
Yeah.
She thinks that she is her aunt.
Something like that, I think, yeah.
That's how they've worked it out so far. And that's their business.
Correct.
That's how they feel is best for everyone involved. So we don't want to make it more confusing, but we're so curious. And if she ever did come looking, we would absolutely, you know, I'd take her shopping.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. No, we would get a DNA test and just see, so that everyone knew, because I'm sure one day she will come looking for you.
It's possible, yeah.
So
it's possible. You know, like I said, I think that, you know, always having that maybe baby feeling for a long time. Like I said, I wasn't thinking that far ahead at the time when I decided to sign those papers. So, you know, I don't know if there should be like a lesson behind this story, but
I think when we're first getting sober, we think we'll never have our life together.
Yeah.
We think we'll never get our driver's license back. We're never going to get a house. We're never going to get all the things that we need. And the funny thing is, when you're working really hard and you're staying sober, it comes and you have it before you know it. I remember just being in my addiction thinking, oh, I'm never going to get out of here.
Yeah.
I didn't see a way out. You know, I remember you saying that you felt like you're never going to get a place. You were at a meeting. Yeah. You should tell that story.
I was at a meeting, and some guy was, talking about how he just got his own apartment back, and he bought a washer and dryer or something, some of the really basics, those really big important steps when you're first kind of cleaning up, the dismay that you have left, the obliterated life that you have having to overcome.
Yes.
And I remember thinking like, God, that guy got that. When am I ever going to be able to do that? That is just so far away. I just thought, is that even possible in this next year? It just felt like such a big thing for me at the time.
We didn't have dishes when we met. He was a homeless addict in drug court. I was a newly released parolee that just got a very crappy duplex and a toaster box car and a job at the same office that you worked at. Yep. So we started from absolutely nothing, and it did feel like it was going to take so long.
It did.
But look where we are now.
Yeah.
Aren't you so proud?
I am. For sure. It's hard to say that sometimes and admit it out in the open, because you have to, we've been so determined. And you put your head down and push for so long that to actually pop up and relax a little bit and say,
I'm around and be like, damn,
I'm proud of what we've accomplished. It's a little bit scary and exciting at the same time, because you think if I don't keep pushing at this pace, but you have to stop and enjoy and really look around and be proud of the things that you accomplish as you're making progress when you clean it up.
All right, so is that it?
That's it. I don't think we have any else. This could be an ongoing update.
More skeletons out of Reese's closet.
Woo! So yeah, that whole story has a big spiral to it, but we could film that a whole another time. So
we can.
But yeah, that's one of the things we've had to kind of work around in our relationship, and it's a topic that doesn't come up often, but when it does, it gets a little bit more thought, I think, every year.
Yeah.
So
I would love to know. We would love a third daughter. All right, you guys, we're going to end today's video here. I love you guys. Stay safe, stay sober, think things through. Yes. And I'll see y'all on my next one.
Bye.